What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck for all my Blackwings. Now, Blackwings is a very interesting deck that at one time was a very powerful deck. Obviously, the game has since progressed past it, but they are still a very fun deck, and they can definitely do a lot of really cool things, and they are still pretty powerful. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 Simoon the Poison Wind. Simoon, if you control no monsters and have this card in your hand, you can banish one other Blackwing monster from your hand, place one Black Whirlwind from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. Then, either send this card to the graveyard, or immediately after this effect resolves, and we'll summon it without attributing. You cannot special summon monsters except dark monsters. Now, Blackwing is pretty cool because Black Whirlwind, when you normal summon a Blackwing, you can add another Blackwing. And since this one allows it to summon itself after placing the Blackwing, so literally you add the Blackwing, summon it, then grab another Blackwing, assuming you are fine with being locked into darks, which I'd say most of the time I'd rather not, so I'd rather use effects and send it to the graveyard, because that does stop you from going into Crystal and Halky Fibrex. I also run 3 Oster, the South Wind. When this card is normal summon, you can target one of your banished level 4 or lower Blackwing monsters, special summon it in defense position. You can banish this card from your graveyard, place black feather counters on one Blackwing dragon you control, equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. Then you can place one wedge counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls that does not have. The wedge counters don't come up too often. They come up maybe occasionally, but that's not really the prime focus of at least this deck, or at least the way I play Blackwings. I run 1 Blackwing Blizzard to the far north. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Blackwing monster from your graveyard. Now, Oster and Blizzard are the only Blackwings you're running that have effects on normal summon. I also run 1 Zephyros the Elite. Zephyros of the Elite, if this card is in your graveyard, you can turn one face-up card you control to the hand, special summon one card, special summon this card, and if you do, take 400 damage. So it's literally a free summon from the grave. Now, the one downside is that this is a once per duel effect. One of the, I don't think there's a whole lot of cards in the game that actually have a once per duel effect. Usually it's once per turn or something like that. Next, I run a bunch of monsters that special summon from the hand. I run 3 Chris the Crack of Dawn, 3 Bora the Spear, 3 Gale the Whirlwind, 2 Orochi, and 2 Harmattan. All those can literally special summon themselves from the hand, which is very powerful and allows you to really put up a really good board first turn. You can actually open your first board, you can literally have Ultimate Falcon, which Ultimate Falcon is one of the best exercise monsters. I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 3 DD Crow, and 2 Nibiru for my hand trap lineup. So yeah, we run a lot of monsters. Moving on to the spells, I run, of course, the 3 Black Whirlwind. Whirlwind, when a Blackwing monster is normal summoned to your field, you can add 1 Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand with less attack than that monster. And you can set it off of Simoon the Poison. I also run 3 Phantom Knights rank up Magic Force. During the main phase, you can banish 1 or more dark monsters from your graveyard, then target 1 dark XYZ monster control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Phantom Knight, Rage Raptor, or XYZ Dragon XYZ monster, whose rank equals that of the banished monsters plus the number of monsters banished. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra except XYZ monsters. For the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except XYZ monsters, which is fine because all the link plays are going to be done before you activate Magic Force. I also run 3 Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish 1 dark, and if you don't have a dark, you have to discard your whole hand. It's your draw power for the deck, essentially. Monster Reborn and Foolish Barrow, because they're just really good cards. As for traps, I just run 1 Blackbird Close. When a monster your opponent controls activates effects, you can send 1 face-up Blackwing monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Then, you can special summon 1 Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck. If you control a Blackwing Synchro monster or a Blackwing Dragon, you can activate this card from your hand. Now, I only run 1 because not all the time do you end up with a Blackwing on field, because what you're trying to go into is Ultimate Falcon, not the Blackwing Synchros. But if you do, this is definitely going to be a good card to have. Moving on to the extra deck. I run 1 Blackwing Full Armor Master. Full Armor Master, like Ultimate Falcon, is unaffected by other card effects. Each time an opponent monster activates an effect, place 1 wedge counter on that opponent's monster. After the effect resolves, once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter, take control of it. So it becomes a mind control essentially. And once per turn during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have a wedge counter. I also run one No Tongue, the Starlight. If this card is special summon, inflict 800 damage to your opponent, then one face-up monster your opponent controls loses 800 attack and defense. You can only use this effect of Blackwing No Tongue once per turn. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Blackwing monster in addition to your normal summon, so No Tongue is an extra summon. Also run the one Assault Blackwing Reiki, the Range Tower. If this card is synchro summon using any Blackwing monster's material, it is treated as a tuner monster, which allows you to go into the higher Blackwing synchro monsters. Once per turn, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control, destroy them. So it's a little bit of destruction. I also run one Blackwing Dragon. If you would take damage from a card effect, place one Black Feather counter on this card. Instead, this card loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter on it. Once per turn, you can remove all Black Feather counters on this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. The target loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter when you removed. And if it does, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack lost by this effect. Not the greatest of effects. I really only run it because of the Blackbird clothes, and you can literally cheat it out that way. I also run one Formula Synchron because I do run Crystal Halki Fabrics. That way during my opponent's turn, I can actually bring that out and get a draw off of it. Also run one Borreload Savage Dragon. Very easy to make in this deck because this deck is literally just a bunch of level 4s. I also run two Raid Raptor Force Strix. I would say 2 is definitely mandatory. Gains 500 attack and defense for each Winged Beast monster you control, except this card. And once per turn, you can detach one material from this card. Add one level 4 or lower Dark Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. So that's definitely, basically, in my opinion, the second best Raid Raptor XYZ monster because Ultimate Falcon is the best one. I run the one Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. The effect isn't really all that important. It's mainly for so we can go into Dark Requiem XYZ Dragon. Now, Requiem is actually really good. If this card is Dark Rebellion XYZ as material, it gains these effects. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up monster opponent controls, change its attack to 0, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the monster's original attack. So it can do a lot of damage. In addition, the secondary effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card and negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Then you can special summon one XYZ monster from your graveyard. Keep in mind, while the first one is once per turn, the second effect to negate is not a once per turn. So if you have a whole bunch of materials on Dark Requiem XYZ Dragon, it can have just so many gates. I feel like eventually in the future, this card may end up getting banned from some combo that abuses it. And as I've said before, Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. Ultimate Falcon is unaffected by other card effects. You detach one XYZ material from this card. For the rest of this turn, all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated. This effect you can only do during your turn, otherwise this card would be way too broken and it'd probably be banned right up there with Calamities. And once per turn during the end phase, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. If your opponent controls no face-up monsters, inflict 1,000 damage. Now, Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon is mainly just there to be a big walking beat stick that clearly is immune to everything. Because you can't target it, you can't send it, you can't destroy it. The only way you can pretty much get over it is through battle, but it has a very high attack, so getting it to that high of attack is going to be hard enough as is to get over an Ultimate Falcon. So Ultimate Falcon can basically almost go through anything. I also run the one Raid Raptor Y-Strix. Y-Strix is definitely important for the whole combo. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon one level 4 lower Darkwing Beast monster from your deck in defense position, but negates its effects. That doesn't really matter. Also, if your Raid Raptor XYZ monster effect is activated, set one rank up magic spell directly from your deck. And if it is a quick play spell, it can be activated this turn, aka Phantom Knight's rank up magic force. Also run the one Halki Fabric since this deck does have a lot of tuners. And it's also good at getting tuners into the grave, which you don't really want to get the tuners into the grave, you just want to get dark monsters into the grave. So when you activate the magic force, you have enough to use for Ultimate Falcon. And lastly, I run an Appaloosa and an access code to round out the extra deck. So that's it for my Blackwing deck profiling. What do you think? Do you think it's a pretty cool deck? Do you think Ultimate Falcon is one of the best XYZ monsters ever? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.